Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. I am really excited to be bringing you guys another tutorial. The response was overwhelming, and any guys that any any looks that you want to see created, I will happily create them for you guys. Just send me the creations that you would like to see in my DMs on Instagram, or you can just post them in the comments right here down below. Today we are going to be doing a colorful cut crease. This was a look that my client saw on Instagram that she wanted me to recreate, so I tried my best to recreate it. I think I did well. So we're starting off with her brows, and I just used the LA Girl gel liner in shade dark brown to do that, and I just use my fingers to sweep through the front of her brows, just to make it look as light and as natural as possible. I am now concealing her eyes, and I use the LA Girl concealer for that as well, and a small flat brush, and I just really slowly took my time and shaped it in the shape that I thought would have been feasible for her face. So it's just all about taking your time when it comes to the brows, because honestly, if the brows don't look good, like, everything about the face is be off, you know. So just take your time with the brows and you'll definitely master it. I'm using my buffer brush to just buff that concealer into her skin, making sure there are no harsh lines, no creases, and everything is just smooth and even on that eyelid. I'm going in with the NYX Jumbo pencil to prime her eyelids, and this is going to act as a base so that when I put down the shadows, that they would appear really vibrant and bright. Yes, and I'm using the buffer brush again to buff this into her eyelids and to blend seamlessly with the concealer that I use to sketch out her eyebrows. Anytime that before I go in with eyeshadow, I always use my buffer brush just to make sure that any lines that may have appeared while she had her eyes open, that I will just cancel it out quickly before applying the shadow. So I just go in with my transition with my transition color, and I use circular motions to apply this all over her eyelid. Well, the top of her eyelid. So circular motions, very slowly. You can build it to the desired color that you want it to be at. Using my buffer brush again, this step is very important to me because I think it really gives me a really smooth eyelid to work with, and I love this step. I think that this is a really important step. And I'm just using my second color all over the same transition base. I keep saying base like saying, but I mean color. And I'm just building that as time goes on to the desired effect that I would like it to be. And I cut her crease also with the LA Girl concealer, and I just used a silver shade to the front and an orange shade to the middle, and you will see me just going back and forth with the colors, making sure that it is to the vibrancy that I want, and the colors are just bright and vibrant. So I'll be going back and forth with all the shadows that I use, just to ensure that the eyes are as colorful as I want them to be. And the noise that is in the background, I live right next to the road, so everything that passes everyone will hear. And if anybody knows Six Roads, know that it's basically a very busy place, so a lot of cars, a lot of trucks are passing. So I do apologize for any noise that you might be hearing in the background, and I thank you for understanding as well. So yes, I'm just going back and forth with those colors, making sure that everything is leveled and bright and vibrant. I'm using the LA Girl gel liner in the shade Jet Black, just to create a short or a half of a wing liner on her eyes, just to line right over her eyelashes, so that when I apply the lashes, that you wouldn't see the strip of the lashes. I'm using some glitter base on the silver part of her eye, and I'm going in with a very beautiful glitter that matches the silver, and I'm also dragging that a bit onto the orange as well. And I'm using some very light patting motions for this, making sure to line it up neatly to the crease. And I'm applying her lashes now. She has some really curly lashes, so I actually had to pull down her lashes and then apply the lashes, and that came with a lot of practice. A lot of practice. I'm using the LA Girl gel liner in the shade Jet Black, same liner that I used to line her eyes. I'm using that to blend her lashes into the falsies. Some people like to use mascara, but I find that with gel liner, it is just a little way better, and you don't have like the shadow from putting on the colors on her eyes. It's just blend that away, and it's just blend seamlessly into the eyelashes, and I prefer that method over mascara. I'm just concealing the top part of her brows, and this is a slow process, guys, as well. Her eyebrows are shaped to the way how her natural eyebrows are, so I'm just following that natural arch very slowly and tenderly with care, people. And I'm using my buffer brush to blend that out, so that when I go in with my foundation, that everything would blend nicely together. And I primed her face with the NYX Honey Do Me Up primer. You guys know I love that primer. That's the best primer. And I'm going in with some foundation and a damp beauty blender, and I use my fingers to apply it, so that I would have control over the amount of product that I'm using. And I just blended that all over her face. I blend and I blend and I blend until I got the effect that I was looking for, making sure that it was matching her neck. And yeah, just blend and blend. using the LA Girl concealer to highlight under her eyes, and I'm using a bit of a bit of Jordana on top of that. And you can go with whatever you use, whatever suits your face, your tone. And I'm highlighting her nose bridge, her forehead, and the bottom of her chin. And I'm using the same sponge that I used with the foundation to blend this out. I like to use that particular method because I find that it makes everything blend seamlessly together, because you already have some leftover foundation on there, and using it on top of that will just make everything blend better. I hope that you understand it that way. Making sure that any harsh lines that I see, I'm canceling it out with the beauty blender. Making sure from concealer to foundation is seamless. Right before I set the places where I highlight, I always make sure that I go in with the concealer once again, because you know the client, during that time frame, the client looking around, or you know, talking to me or talking to somebody else, so you might develop creases, she might develop creases under her eyes. So right before I set that, I always make sure that I go back in with the beauty blender and then set. I'm going in with a face powder, I think that's a black opal face powder, and I'm just setting the rest of the areas in which I did not highlight. I also remove the powder from the top of her eyebrow and from her chin, because we don't really need that there too long. And I'm using the darkest brown that you have in any palette. I'm using that to just give her a nice natural contour. Some persons like to use the cream contour, but I don't really fancy it. I prefer just a natural looking face, so I just powder contour. And I'm also contouring her nose bridge, and I bring that powder straight up to the top of the eyebrows and blend that straight into the shadow, so that you wouldn't see any lines of powder or you wondering what happening somewhere in between there. So I always just bring it straight up to the eyeshadow and just like flow. So I line her eyes with the LA Girl gel liner in black, and I just put a bit of one of the shades that I use. I can't tell you guys the name of these shades now, but I do know that the palette that I used is the Beauty Creations palette, the Elsa palette, and I used Juvia's Place palette, which was the first edition. Yeah, that's what I used. And I used Colored Rain, Vivid Brights. Yeah, those are the three palettes that I use. I'm just using a big brush now to blend away the highlighted areas, and I just dab that into the face powder and just blend that away. I'm using some blush now on her cheeks, and I always go back in with the brush that I used with the face powder, just to blend that seamlessly into the skin. And I used some Moira setting spray on her face. I love that setting spray. That setting spray is just doing magic, and I love it. I would recommend it to anybody. And most of the face products that I use today are from Fashion Box. Big ups to Fashion Box. Fashion Box is the plug. You can get anything that you need from there. Yeah, and I get the Moira setting spray from Kissing Makeup in Haggett haul. Yeah, that's where I got it from. And it just put some highlighter on the top of her lips, on her nose, and just put some nude lipstick, and she's so beautiful, guys. Some mascara. Yeah, and that was it. I thank you so much for watching this, and just let me know what you guys want to see. Have a good, beautiful week.